For years, history books told us that Africa learned iron technology from somewhere else, that advanced metalworking came from the Near East, passed through North Africa, and eventually reached sub-Saharan Africa. But then, archaeologists dug into the soil of a small community in Nsukka called Lejja, and history started shaking. Because what they found there didn't just challenge African history, it challenged world history. What if the Igbo people were among the earliest pioneers of iron smelting anywhere on Earth? And what if one of the oldest large-scale iron industries in human history was sitting quietly in southeastern Nigeria this whole time? The story begins in Lejja, a cluster of 33 villages in the Nsukka area of present-day Enugu State. At first glance, it looked like a normal community, but beneath the soil sat evidence of something extraordinary. Scattered across Lejja were massive slag deposits, broken furnace remains, tuyer fragments, pottery, shrines, defensive earthworks, and traces of an ancient industrial civilization. And for centuries, local people lived around these remains without realizing just how historically important they were. Formal archaeological excavations only began in the late 20th century when Nigerian archaeologists, alongside international researchers, started investigating claims about the area's ancient past. What they uncovered shocked historians. First, they found evidence of industrial-scale iron production, not small blacksmith workshops, industrial production. Lejja contained enormous slag blocks. This is the waste material left after smelting iron from ore. Some of these slag blocks weighed several tons. That alone suggested continuous iron production over many generations. But that wasn't the biggest surprise. The real shock came from the furnaces. Archaeologists discovered clay furnaces capable of producing and sustaining extremely high temperatures. The furnace designs showed advanced knowledge of airflow control, metallurgy, and engineering, and according to researchers, these furnace types found at Lejja were very unique. They had not been found anywhere else in the world. Then came the carbon dating. Charcoal samples taken from the furnaces were analyzed, including tests conducted at the Oxford University Accelerator Mass Spectrometry Laboratory. The results were explosive. Some dates placed iron smelting activity at Lejja around 2000 BC, that is roughly 4,000 years ago, and that is where the controversy begins. Because if those dates are accurate, it would mean iron smelting existed in southeastern Nigeria earlier than many known ironworking sites in North Africa. It would also mean that the Igbos may have independently invented iron smelting technology instead of receiving it from outside civilization. That idea completely disrupts older historical assumptions that advanced technology always came into Africa from somewhere else. And understandably, not everybody accepted the findings quietly. Critics argue that the charcoal samples may have come from older trees, meaning the dates reflected the age of the wood and not necessarily the iron smelting event itself. But even with the debates, Lejja forced historians to ask uncomfortable questions. What if Africa was not just participating in the Iron Age, but pioneering parts of it? And Lejja definitely wasn't alone. Across southeastern Nigeria, archaeologists uncovered multiple ancient ironworking sites in places like Opi, Oba, Oka, Owerelu, and Umundu. At Opi, iron smelting remains dated to around 750 BC were discovered, but Lejja stood apart because of its scale, organization, and possible age. This wasn't isolated experimentation. This looked like a high organized industrial system. The community layout itself showed planning. Iron smelting zones were separated from living areas and spiritual sites. That level of organization suggests labor coordination, resource management, and social structure. In other words, this was civilization operating at a sophisticated level. And then there's another major piece of puzzle, Igbo-Ukwu. If Lejja revealed ancient iron technology, Igbo-Ukwu revealed artistic metal mastery. Discovered in the 20th century, Igbo-Ukwu became globally famous because of its astonishing bronze artifacts. These weren't crude metal objects. They were incredibly detailed works created using advanced lost wax casting techniques. The craftsmanship was so sophisticated that many foreign scholars initially struggled to believe the artifacts were locally made. But they were. The bronzes included ceremonial vessels, jewelry, staff, swords, ornaments, and intricate designs showing extraordinary technical skill. And these artifacts dated back nearly 1,000 years ago, older than both Ife and Benin bronzes. Together, Lejja and Igbo-Ukwu completely changed conversation around African metallurgy and Igbo history. One side showed evidence of ancient industrial iron production, and then the other showed world-class bronze artistry and metal engineering. Both showed the advancement and long history of the Igbo people. But Lejja wasn't just about industry. Archaeologists also uncovered evidence of settlements, pottery traditions, hilltop defenses, shrines, and ritual spaces. Some hilltops contain traces of stone walls and defensive earthworks. Oral traditions say these elevated settlements helped communities monitor enemies from a distance and then defend themselves during conflict. The ancestral and ritual sites revealed something equally important. Iron working in Lejja was not viewed as ordinary labor. It was deeply spiritual. Certain shrines were linked to warfare, ancestral authority, and ritual practices surrounding iron production. These suggest that metallurgy was tied not only to economics and technology, but also to religion, politics, and identity. One of the most striking sites in Lejja is the village square at Otobo Dunoka. There, more than 800 massive slag blocks remained arranged in rows. Today, some of these ancient slag blocks are still used as seats during village meetings. Think about that for a second. A community in southeastern Nigeria has been sitting for generations of physical evidence of one of Africa's oldest industrial traditions. And because of cultural taboos, many of these slag blocks remain untouched and preserved for centuries. Today, Lejja forces historians to rethink three major ideas. First, Africa, and specifically the Igbo region of southeastern Nigeria, may have independently developed ironworking technology. Second, ancient West African societies, especially Igbo societies connected to sites like Lejja and Igbo-Ukwu, had large-scale industrial and organizational capacity long before colonial narratives claimed they did. And third, human civilization did not necessarily develop in one straight line from one region to everybody else. Innovation happened in multiple places, including Africa, including among the Igbo people. And honestly, that may be the most important part of the story, because Lejja is not just an archaeological site, it is proof that Igbo history is still incomplete. There are still stories buried under the soil, still discoveries waiting to challenge everything we thought we knew. And the Igbo people's contribution to metallurgy, engineering, trade, and civilization may be far older and far greater than many history books were willing to admit. If stories like this don't make you question how history has been told, then honestly, nothing else might. Follow for more deep dives into African history, because some of the world's greatest stories are still hidden in plain sight.